walk by the sleep number set. And of course, one of the bigger attractions here is this place right here, FanDuel, Pat McAfee's show, which is one of the biggest on the web. And we'll hopefully have him a little bit later. That's him live right on the air. And you are watching Dave Stevens live right here on Radio Row. And I've got a Hall of Famer next to me on our telecast today. It is the legendary Mel Renfro, Dallas Cowboy from 64 to 77. So many accolades in his career. Punt returns, 52 intercepted passes. What I want to ask you, Mel, because I was looking up your stats a little bit earlier, and again, thank you for joining us. 1966, you played running back and wide receiver. You even had a 27-yard rush and a 42-yard reception. What was going on in 66?
Well, my first 2 years, I played defense safety, and I was so effective at running the ball, kickoffs and punt returns. Landry said, "We got to get the ball in this guy's hands more." So he decided to move me to offense, and it didn't work out because the first game against the New York Giants in the Cotton Bowl, Henry Carr fell over my feet, my ankle, and broke it. So I was down for about 4 or 5 weeks, and it didn't look like I might come back to play offense. Of course, Dan Reeves stepped in, the late, great Dan Reeves stepped in and did a fantastic job. So Landry decided to keep me on defense and play safety. Of course, I continued to intercept passes and do a good job. And when my ankle totally healed, he moved me to corner. And, of course, I started intercepting and doing a great job at corner. So I spent the rest of my career at the corner, which I think was a blessing because at running back, I wouldn't have lasted long. I played 14 years and turned out really well because it got me into the Hall of Fame.
And you got that ring, too. You got to show that beautiful. You got a couple of them, but that's one of the old ones.
That's Hall of Fame, 1996, and this one is Super Bowl 12, Dallas, Denver. Orange Crush against Doomsday.
That is amazing. It's one of those things you're proud because you know people we didn't get to see the last couple of years at Radio Row. It's awesome. You know, it's great to have you back here, and of course you're representing the Gridiron Greats and the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund, which is important for a lot of the NFL guys in your era that don't really get the benefits and things like that they've had in the current era. Correct?
You're definitely right. I go all the way back with Mike Ditka, who created the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund, and a great guy, got a big heart. I played against him. I watched him as a kid, and I played against him when he was playing for the Bears. And of course, he came to the Cowboys as one of our coaches and got to know him extremely well. So when Mike came to me and asked me to participate in the Gridiron Greats, I said, without a doubt. And of course, it's the players back in those days didn't make the monies that they make these days, so they need the help. And Mike Ditka stepped up and made that possible, and I'm happy to be a part of that.
And we got Mark Singleton next to you. We're talking about what's going on for Pork Rind Appreciation Day, something you don't really hear a lot about, but Southern Recipe and Small Batch. Tell us a little bit about what's going on. I didn't realize there was enough appreciation of pork rinds to have a whole day.
Well, my wife says they're addicting. So when she picks them up, she can't put them down. And they've got all the healthy values of any food that you might want to snack on. And of course, Mark is the master at talking about that. Maybe I'll let Mark say a few words about the pork rinds.
Yeah, hey, Mark, just pop in. If you can see, we can kind of scoot you in a little bit here. We'll do it on the fly.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you for letting us on today. About 12 years ago, we teamed up with Coach Ditka and the Gridiron Greats to bring awareness and raise a lot of money to help these heroes that we all grew up with that provided so many years and hours of entertainment for us and really brings our communities together. The coolest thing I think about football, from Texas high school all the way to the pros, is the way that it brings us together. And we're so happy to be able to work with Coach and Mel and the other Gridiron Greats.
And tell us about this event. You got Joe Green, you got some big names besides Mel. So what is this and how can we find it, get involved, or at least help?
Yeah, you can always go to our website, southernrecipesmallbatch.com, find out all about the Gridiron Greats. Right now, you could win $5,000 in a year's supply of pork rinds. And then go to www.gridirongreats.org to find out more about how you can help coach and help how you personally can help your heroes in this great game and at this great time of the year, Super Bowl Sunday.
All right, Mark, that sounds great. So now we'll get back to you a little bit here, talk about your Super Bowl memories. You got to play in a few of those Steelers battles. I mean, those were some of the classic ones. You know, your battles kind of reminded me of what this postseason was like. So you've played in these games. The Super Bowl was huge, but it's not like the event now. I mean, what was different about the Super Bowl in those days as it is compared to now?
Well, you know, there's so much media coverage, a lot more today than it was back when we played. Of course, it was new, and you know, the Super Bowl is Super Bowl. You know, you got that Super Bowl ring. It means as much. It meant as much then as it does now that you're a Super Bowl champion, and I'm proud to wear those Super Bowl rings. And you know, I give a shout out to these current players that have the opportunity to get on that stage. And it's just like, you know, when you start playing sports, it's a team sport, and you got to work with your teammates and your coaches to be successful. And it's just like any business, the pork rind business, the gridiron greats. Everything takes teamwork and people working together. The good people that are all have the same thought in mind is to try to do good for your fellow man. And you know, I appreciate Mark so much and those people. And I'm just happy to be here and enjoying this experience and just paying tribute to the two Super Bowl teams and you know, may the best man win. I'm a Los Angeles Ram fan, but I think that Cincinnati is going to win the ball game.
Well, good. I like to hear that. And you know, you're in an exclusive club as a person that's won a couple of Super Bowls, but that jacket means you're in an even more exclusive club. Just take us back to that time when you finally got the call and what that moment was like at Canton when you're up there giving your speech. I mean, I imagine it still gives you chills when you think about what that must have been like. The epitome of your career, what you battled, you know, in the 50s and 60s with racism and everything, and to become a pure, true athlete, honored for his ability on the field. I mean, it just, you got to be glowing every day. When you probably don't get to bring this coat out very much. They think you're a Century 21 salesman or something, but it's so beautiful to have.
Well, what comes to mind first is being 6 and 7 and 8 years old, watching those great players of the past, the Jim Browns and the Lenny Moores, and emulating them, you know, as a kid. And never in a million years would I ever thought that I'd become a pro player and get to the Hall of Fame. It was just the furthest thing from my mind. But growing up, going through high school and college, getting a taste of what it was all about, and you know, finally getting there, standing on that podium, you know, looking down on the audience and those cameras, and I'm just thinking, you know, I'm being watched all around the world. I said, wow, you know, you just, in the old cliche, it just doesn't get any better than this. I'll never stop saying it, but that's the feeling you get. It just doesn't get any better than this.
Well, Mel, thank you for joining us today. Pro Football Hall of Famer, Cowboys legend, amongst all those great names, Staubach, Too Tall, Tony, just an amazing group. And for you to take time, I'm truly humbled and blessed that you joined us. The great Mel Renfro. And of course, don't forget Pork Rind Appreciation Day. Thank you guys for joining us as Mel takes off. We got Tony Baselli coming up in just a little bit. This is Dave Stevens coming to you live from Radio Row Thursday morning. The hits just keep coming. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a little bit. And like I said, we got Tony Baselli coming up. So don't change that webcam, whatever you're watching, TV channel. Just continue to support Ability Media.